Guys, I am so excited for this video because it's been a while since we were able to talk about the Fortnite storyline, and today I am going to be reacting to your Fortnite storyline theories. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels, and welcome back to the Lore Lab, everybody, where I ask you guys to jump into the Discord and give me some Fortnite storyline theories. Guys, if you are new here, pin comment, description down below. Join the Discord, help me make videos, help us make videos. It's a fantastic time. I love getting the community involved, and I appreciate you guys writing down your thoughts so we can make an amazing video out of that. With that being said, guys, let's get into the video for today. I just came back from watching the Fortnite news recap, and all I want to say is that the Wanderer is Geno. In Season 4, I think this Wanderer will help Dr. Doom harness the power that still lies in the Pandora's box, and the focus will entirely be about Dr. Doom, and this Wanderer character will be alluded to very briefly in character dialogues. And then, when the time comes for the event, if it happens in Season 4 or in Season OG Chapter 2, we will defeat Dr. Doom, and then the last scene we will get a glimpse at what we can only assume to be Geno, with a classic to be continued in Chapter 6. The story will kick off with Geno trying to revive the Imagined Order, which will finally reveal that Megalodon was indeed Gunner, and then he was the reason Geno was able to fully recover. We will get a battle pass of the sort of Chapter 3 Season 1 homage with a heavily requested superhero collab, Homelander from The Boys, which is poetic due to Homelander having a very corrupt sense of justice. A heavily teased storyline characters in the form of Geno. Note, they might have a celebrity feature in this character, though unlikely. And then in Season 2, we will get more IO characters to follow up with the return of the Seven in a new corrupted way. My prediction for Chapter 6 is that we will get a satisfying conclusion to what Donald Mustard built up so we can fully phase into Charlie Wen's storytelling. And to clarify, I didn't come up with this because in the video, this is just a theory built after the roadmap leaks and the teasers for the Wanderer came out, and I wanted to get your attention to this theory of mine. Edit. I would also like to add that the 0 point is dormant within the Titan beneath the island, and the villains coming off seasons will try to extract it, and in Chapter 6, the corrupted Seven from the last reality, I believe the Cube Queen is dead and not magically alive somehow, and the corruption of the Nothing led the origin back to his origin. See what I did there? I get that. So, very out there theory. I don't think I've heard something like this before. It's getting very specific, and you know what I love about this is, with so many of you writing these Fortnite storyline theories, like, it makes sense. You have this like hard prediction that's probably not going to happen, but it makes sense. It's interesting because I still do think we are in a transition period, and I don't think Charlie Wen's story was able to kick off. That's why I'm very excited for Chapter 6. They hired Charlie Wen for a reason. He's trying with the story right now, but we're still in that transition period. That's what I personally believe. So this actually does make sense. The only problem is I don't think that the Wanderer is Geno. He very well could be, and this theory makes a lot of sense. We'll just have to, of course, wait to see what happens with that. Shadow Midas explained. In Chapter 2 Season 3, Midas got bit by the shark, causing him to go to the underworld. However, in Fortnite 2020, he came back as a shadow. The Shadow Realm in Greek mythology is in the underworld. It's also known as Erebus. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Land of the Shadows. This is where Hades resided. So Midas wasn't imprisoned in the underworld. He was simply a shadow. But Midas must have figured out how to control the Shadow Realm, and hence the return as Shadow Midas. Hades took notice of this and immediately stopped Midas. This would explain why Shadow Midas just vanished after Fortnite 2020 and why Hades imprisoned him of all people. So, I don't think this is the reason. I think that this was just Epic Games bringing back Shadow Midas so they can go, hey, Midas is here, here's our LTM. But it's things like this, like, they could have come up with a night, like, don't get me wrong, of course, this could happen, I just don't believe that to be the case. I wish Epic Games made something like this more like convenient for us to find, or just put it in the game somehow, allow us to connect those dots. That would just bring so much more love to the introduction of Shadow Midas. And like I said, it's not that difficult to make Fortnite fans happy. I've been saying that on the channel for a long time, Fortnite lore fans specifically to make happy. We just want something to follow, man. I don't think that this was the case. It's definitely an awesome explanation, and actually it'd be cool if Epic Games did tie this in, or Charlie Wen just tied this in as time went on. But it's interesting, like, the actual connection to Greek mythology, so you never know. I think the Underworld is a past version of the last reality because the Underworld has Hades and he has powers of dark magic, and the last reality has dark magic cubes, so maybe the last reality worked with the Underworld before. I think this is a stretch, but of course, like I've been saying in this video, anything is possible, especially in this crazy world of Fortnite. Plus, you could look at it in a way if Charlie Wen's trying to tie things in with Donald Mustard's storyline. You never know. I've come up with a theory, even though it might be a bit of a stretch. I feel as if the Wanderer might be Geno. Hey, I'm always here for stretches, dude. Like, that's the fun part talking about the Fortnite storyline. While it could also be Dr. Doom, I think in the long run, revealing the Wanderer to be Geno would be a much better option, and it would really help to start pushing Charlie's story forward to the same heights we saw with Donald. The reason I think this could be Geno is first because of the roadmap. In Season 4, we have the Marvel season, likely with Doctor Doom, followed by Chapter 2 OG Chapter 2. It's for this reason I'm not sure if the Wanderer is Doctor Doom, and as I don't see why he would have any motivation to want to go back to Chapter 2 Island, where Geno definitely would. If the Wanderer is Geno, here's why I think the story in the rest of Chapter 5 would play out, and why I think the Wanderer being Geno would work. To start, by the end of Season 3, the Wanderer being Geno calls upon Doctor Doom amidst the chaos of Hope and Jones trying to defeat Megalodon, and conspires with him to make a new time machine, since both Geno and Doctor Doom have very similar views on how the world should be run. Geno perhaps convinces Doctor Doom that they should return to Chapter 2. Doctor Doom can have a say in how the IO should be run. So, going into Season 4, we have Doctor Doom as the main villain, but Geno still very much in the background, still as the Wanderer, and during this time, Jones and Hope call in the Marvel heroes to help stop Doom. In the end, they succeeded in defeat Doom. However, it's too late to stop the time machine and everyone is transported back to Chapter 2. However, events play out much differently. During the events of OG Chapter 2, Jones meets up with the Seven. However, the IO are a lot more active on the map than last time, especially during the later half of the season. The Seven inform Jones that for some reason the IO to be much more aware of their battle plans and plans for the future and are losing control of the island rapidly. By the end of OG, the Seven are forced to make a fully retreat off the island to the Ice Moon, and this time the IO construct a new device kind of like the Collider, but is used to completely cripple the last reality invasion during Season 7 and Season 8. Which leads them to retreat as well. However, after they leave the island in total ruin and completely different, however, the IO come out on top, we move on to Chapter 6, where IO have total control of the island, and during the end event for OG Chapter 2, the Wanderer finally reveals himself to be Geno all along. That's a really solid theory. That's a solid theory. I do not think this is going to happen at all, but like I said, man, it's totally possible. Things like this, like, you know what I really hope for? Is that we get a theory like this that's super specific, and then we end up calling it right. That would be so sick. In this video as proof, that would be really hype in my opinion. But it's an interesting story of the way you can still have the Marvel season with Doctor Doom and have kind of Geno working in the background. I really like that theory. Solid stuff. You know what? I had a theory from last year. What if the Cube Queen and the Herald were the same being? To start off with, yes, I believe the Cube Queen was dead after the last reality, Cube Cradle Armada, but the question would remain how? Well, it's an assumption, but what if the Nothing had powers to revive the dead in its own form away? Meaning that the Nothing's realm is a pocket realm of purgatory, meaning what enters can be used later if Nothing desires. To kind of back this claim up, here's a comparison between the Cube Queen and the Herald. This is where you can spot similarities. Now, I personally believe that the similarities are because they are both part of the last reality, but it definitely is an interesting take, and I wouldn't make it far-fetched at all that the last reality could just raise their dead. I think the Cube Queen is dead, but I think they could always just... No, that's tough. Sometimes I think the Cube Queen's dead, sometimes I don't think the Cube Queen is dead, because sometimes you can see that the Cube Queen kind of teleporting, but she's also screaming and splashing in the water. I don't know what to think, man, but let's say she is dead. I wouldn't put it past Fortnite or past the last reality doll that they could just bring back their dead. They're aliens and obviously like some intelligent species, so I don't mind this theory. I personally think Megalodon's ship will go through the island, possibly exposing the 0 point, and then the Wanderer revealing himself as Doctor Doom will tune the 0 point and make it a rift of all kinds of Marvel POIs, make that a mini event, and bam. I actually don't mind that. Because right now they're teasing the Megalodon ship to be sailing somewhere. We maybe just sailing over to a girl, who knows, but that's interesting that it's going to the island and exposing the 0 point, because that is a giant ship and it can make like, yeah, it can make a huge part, like separation in the ground. The 0 point's exposed a little bit and the 0 point kind of just activates. I actually like that. That's a good way to bring in the Marvel characters. I think the Wanderer is Doctor Doom because we have the Marvel season coming along with another OG season. Then we have probably another ad metaverse event. There's no reason for Epic to go all out and making a cool Wanderer story. I hope I'm wrong, but I believe this is what to come. This is where I'm kind of at mostly, because again, I think we're in a transition period right now. I think that Charlie Wen's still getting the hang of things. I think that they had a lot to deal with, and I think that Chapter 6 is going to be I don't want to say revival because Fortnite's not in a bad state, but Charlie Wen could really kick his story into gear then. Plus, you're right. I think everybody's looking into it a little bit too much. From the past, what we've had with the storyline, it was like a one and done type thing, especially like I'm talking about Chapter 4 and Chapter 5. I think it's this simple. We have a Marvel season coming, a character that looks like Doctor Doom. It's Doctor Doom. We got to have a way for these Marvel characters to show up. Plus, it's an interesting idea. We have the OG season, then possibly another ad metaverse event. I think it's a good case for Dr. Doom, and that's where I'm still at. I still do believe that the Wanderer is on Dr. Doom. But guys, speaking of Dr. Doom and the Wanderer, I want to point you guys over to this video on screen right now. It is the rising difficulties of living and dating as a gamer. If you are a gamer, it is becoming more difficult for you to just kind of exist in society and especially talk to girls. So this video might help you out, guys. Thank you very much for being here. Take care.